Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Today is part 2 of my Vietnam travel diary. If you have not seen my part 1, I will link it up here for you guys. But basically I'm just going to kind of talk you through the third and fourth day of our time in Vietnam. And I'll overlay footage and insert some clips that I've taken of everything that we saw, what we enjoyed, what we loved, what we didn't, and just kind of give you some more information on our trip to Vietnam, help you kind of see it through our eyes. My husband and I, James, we went to Vietnam. We've been back for almost 2 weeks now, so it was a couple weeks ago, but we really enjoyed it. We had a wonderful time, and I wanted to share as much about Vietnam as I could because when I was planning my trip, I had a hard time finding a lot of information, so I'm putting this resource out for anyone who may be traveling to Vietnam in the future. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's just get into it. So on day 3, we were staying in Da Nang, but we booked a tour through a hotel to go to the city of Hue, which is about 2 hours north of Da Nang. We booked it through our hotel, but it was a company run by a company called Da Nang Tours. They did a really great job. They picked us up at our hotel in an air-conditioned bus, drove us all the way there. We had a really great tour guide who spoke English very well and explained to us the history of the region and kind of they did a really great job explaining everything throughout the whole tour. So as we drove up to Hue, a very famous destination is the Hai Van Pass. It kind of runs in the mountains with the ocean on, like if you're going north with the ocean on your right. Because we were going in a bus, we weren't able to go on the Hai Van Pass. We went through the tunnel, which was kind of a bummer. I was a little bit sad about that, but I'm sure if we go back another day we'll do the pass. But if you have a chance to go on the pass, I've heard it's beautiful and wonderful. But we just drove through the mountains, through a lot of like smaller villages. It was really beautiful scenery as we were driving, like lakes and rice paddies and just lots of like mountains and ocean. It was really, really beautiful. So it took us about 2 hours to get there, and our first destination was the Citadel. So Hue was the imperial capital of Vietnam when Vietnam was ruled by the Nguyen dynasty, and the emperors built their kind of like work and home area in Hue in this big citadel. So the first thing we saw was this big gate, kind of leads into the citadel. It was beautiful, very ornate, like kind of traditional. It looked more Chinese, I feel like, than Southeast Asian, but I'm not super familiar with Asian architecture. But it was really beautiful, lots of bright colors, which I was kind of not used to. Usually you just are used to seeing reds, but there was lots of yellows, and there was green and oranges, and it was really, really pretty colors. And then we went into this really pretty temple, which we weren't allowed to take photo or video inside, but very ornate, very beautiful. We walked through some other temples, and we saw during the war a lot of it was destroyed, so there's like original pieces, reconstructed pieces, ruins. It's a really, really cool area. We saw some really beautiful pagodas. We saw a lot of just like so beautiful architecture, a lot of really beautiful archways with a lot of decoration. It was really pretty. We didn't get to walk around and like explore as much as I'd like, but it was beautiful nonetheless, and I really enjoyed it. And our tour guide did a great job of describing the history of the region and the emperors and the different emperors. There were 13 Nguyen emperors, and so we talked about them and like their political and economic roles and all sorts of stuff. It was great. And then after the Citadel, we went to lunch and we ate at a Vietnamese restaurant. It was really, really good, just very traditional Vietnamese food. So we had soup, and we had fish and rice and some vegetables, some shrimp, some pork. There was a lot of like, it was just like mostly meat. There was some salad, so it was a really good array, a little something for everyone to try. On the way up, we stopped at this little like shop where they sold pearls, but we walked out onto this beach and it was beautiful with the mountains and everything. I'll insert a clip. After lunch, we went to the Tien Mu Pagoda, which is a really famous pagoda. It was beautiful, very like, it seems old. I don't know how old it actually is, but it felt older than I think that it actually was. There was a beautiful view over the Perfume River. It was lovely. And then, so we walked around. We spent about half an hour there just walking around. He kind of told us the history behind the pagoda and like how it was inspired and what it's named after. It's like Lady in the Mountains or Lady or something like that, Lady in the Sky. And we just wandered around, looked. It was really beautiful, really enjoyed it. And then we went to like a little factory where they sold candy and stuff, and we bought a little like sesame candy. And then we went to, our last stop was the 12th Win Emperor's tomb, and it was really, really cool. It was kind of nestled, it was a little bit further out of the city, nestled in some really beautiful green rolling hills. The view out of it was absolutely gorgeous, and I think it was built like in the the early 20th century, so not a super long time ago, like just over 100 years ago, and it was built in very like European style, so it kind of goes like straight back up the hill, and there's steps, and each layer like it's a little bit more ornate, a lot of decoration. It was really beautiful. A lot of it is like concrete though, it wasn't like very fancy material, but it was still beautiful. Lots of like dragons and all sorts of twisting, intricate decorations. And then inside the tomb itself, it was like completely tiled and like this beautiful mosaic of all these different colors. And there was a statue, a big gold statue of the emperor in the tomb, and it was really beautiful inside. Lots of color and lots of like texture. It was really cool. And our tour guide kind of told us about him. And then that was it, and we went back to Da Nang, and I think we just kind of like rested after that. We got back honestly about like 6 o'clock in the evening, so the sun was setting, and we just went out and we walked around kind of looking for a place to eat, and we ended up at this place called Taco Ngon, spelled Ngon, and they had really, really good tacos. The menu was super simple, super cheap, but so good. They were like Taiwanese style tacos, which I don't really know what a Taiwanese taco is because tacos are from Mexico, but they were really good. So we ate a bunch of tacos. We stopped at a supermarket on the way home to get water, and just, like every night we kind of stopped at a supermarket to get 2 big jugs of water and to like get a new snack to try and stuff. So that was fun. And then we went to sleep, and then the next morning we woke up early and we went to kind of watch the sunrise on the beach. We woke up a little after sunrise, which was surprising because we were waking up at like 5:36 in the morning, but we walked down to the beach, and there were fishing boats out. It was really beautiful. The sun was pretty high up already, but it was like low enough that it was kind of overcast, so it was creating this really cool glow and like color, and the fishing boats were out, and it was just really cool to kind of sit on the beach and watch that for a little while. And then we went back to our hotel, and we took a taxi up to the Buddha on the hill. So there's this big white lady Buddha on the hill, and there's a pagoda kind of behind her. So we walked up there and we saw it's huge, or we didn't walk, we taxied up there. She's huge, super tall. It kind of reminds me of the Christ statue in Rio de Janeiro. And there was some really beautiful pagodas, so we kind of wandered around through there, checked everything out. Really, really great views of the city since it's kind of up on a hill, and a little bit to the side you could see the whole coast of Da Nang. It was really beautiful. And then we went to the Museum of Cham Sculpture. The Cham people kind of were indigenous to the region and lived there a long time ago. If you've heard of the Mai Son ruins, we didn't end up going there, but they're a really famous UNESCO World Heritage Site. The Champa lived at Mai Son. So it's really, they had just like very pretty sculpture and decoration and pottery and all sorts of like, so it was interesting to learn about the indigenous people from the region. And then we took kind of a rest. We got a little bit of bubble tea and just kind of like chilled in the air conditioning because it was so hot. And then we went back to our hotel and packed up all our stuff and got ready to go. And then we grabbed a taxi and we went to Hoi An. And Hoi An is one of the most famous cities in Vietnam. Everyone says it's their favorite place, and so we were staying there overnight. We booked into our hotel, or we checked into our hotel, which was a really, really beautiful hotel. It's called La Senta, and it looks out over the rice paddies. It has this really lovely infinity pool, so we checked in there. It was such a pretty hotel. And then we like dropped off our bags while we were waiting for our room to get ready, and we went into town to get lunch. We walked to this little cafe that was right on the river, and it was lovely. There was like a guy out with his boat fishing, and I had some spring rolls and James ate some pho, and it was really beautiful. There were like lanterns and lights in this restaurant. It was kind of overpriced. It was like the most expensive restaurant we ate at the whole time, but it was very pretty and we really enjoyed it. And then we went back to our hotel and got checked in, got settled in our room. We went to the pool for a little while. It was very nice to like swim and rest and just kind of like chill out. And then we walked into town and walked around and just like checked out all the shops, and James went to get measurements done for his suit. He got a suit made when we were there, so we got him all measured and we just kind of like wandered through all the shops and popped around, and then we went to the night market. Once it got a little bit darker, we walked to the night market and kind of walked through everything, and we ate this like banana crepe thing. It was really good. It was like, I guess they called it like a banana pancake, and I think they're Thai actually, but it was really good. It was just basically a banana crepe. And then we went to Taco Ngon again. There's a Taco Ngon location in Hoi An, so we went there to eat dinner because we were starving and we were so tired. But that's pretty much all we did in Hoi An that day. We just did a lot of like wandering and resting and just kind of like absorbing the ambiance. It's a really beautiful city. It's very touristy. There are a lot of tourists there and a little bit crowded at night, especially because the lanterns are out and there's boats on the river and it's really beautiful and picturesque, but it's just a little bit crowded. So definitely the most white people we saw the whole time we were in Vietnam was in Hoi An. But we really liked it, and we just had like a good relaxing day on Saturday. So yeah, that's what we did on the 3rd and 4th days. We really enjoyed it. They were more like relaxing, easygoing days, but they were lovely and we really enjoyed it. So I will leave all the information that I can for you down below. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing about these days, and stay tuned for my last little travel guide to Vietnam, what we did on our last 2 days. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I'd love to have you come back around on my channel and give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it, and I will see you in the next one.